Hi everyone, this is our test automation meeting and today is May 14, 2020. And just a reminder, these meetings are public and recorded and posted onto YouTube. So let's go over our first agenda item like usual, Jira tickets and progress. All right, so Torsten, BBSIM functionality about this, I merged this last night, and I think you can close this ticket, the BBSIM functionality with multiple OLTs.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Torsten, you were saying something?
I only said I will do it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Suchitra. Hello, Torsten. Hardik here.
Yes.
So there was a mail chain, right, that was going, and Torsten said that one keyword he was not able to run through, and he commented it.
Which was
the patch? The validate subscriber access flows.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried it today. It is working fine for me. So just wanted to give an update on that.
Okay.
So you'll find that it is merged with that part commented.
All right. Okay, thank you. So maybe that we can take it up as a small item to uncomment it. Okay, thanks, Hardik. Anything else from you, Torsten?
To this Jira, no.
Okay.
I will go forward with my other Jira for the Open ONU Go adapter. There I have some small task which I will be worked the next time.
The Open ONU Go adapter.
Yes, down.
This one.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay. So are we ready with this? Or are there problems with the test to be integrated? I think Andrea is following with you, right, on the ticket?
Right.
So what I think we can do on that ticket, that one in particular can be closed because the test is actually merged, and it is currently running. I merged a patch. It is running against every check-in of the patches on that repo. So I believe that we can close that one, and as soon as you have some new functionality to put into the test, you can open a new one. Just not to let that one sit open for nothing, because the initial integration test has been done. Would you agree, Suchitra, Torsten?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. How about you, Torsten?
It's okay for me. So we will open another one with new text.
Yeah, I'll let you do that based on whatever you're working on. I think you can keep it as, for example, if they add the MIB templating to the code, you can create a new one, extend the existing test case with MIB templating capability.
Okay.
Things like that.
Well, fine.
Okay. Thanks, Andrea and Torsten.
Perfect. No problem.
Okay, Andrea, do you want to go next? Any things that you want to bring up on your tickets, or everything's fine? Andrea?
Sorry, Suchitra. So
anything from your side?
Yeah, so actually there's a great update that I started this morning working with Bjorn from Deutsche Telekom to test a new image that Zircon provided for the 1T.8 gem issue that we were seeing. And it seems, crossing our fingers, that the testing is actually working, meaning with this new image, we're capable of deploying the 1T contate gem tech profile on that ONU and achieve the HCPM ping according to the DT workflow. We are currently in the process of upgrading the other ONUs that we have in the Berlin pod. So you could see some issues on the GPON Berlin pod. If that is the case, it is expected because currently the ONTs are unplugged because of this update procedure that needs to happen out of band. But if all goes well, hopefully in the upcoming day or two, we should see complete pass with the 1T contate gem tech profile for DT, which is the official GPON based DT workflow. So that is very good update. I will close the story as soon as that is done. And it will run the usual 17 tests that we run on the DT workflow. So that's pretty good.
Oh, so is this just a quick question? So this particular ONU, is it part of this job?
Yeah, it is part of that job. It is actually, so the one I have been testing with the 1T contate gem tech profile, it has been merged. It has been included in the pod this morning. So before the pod had 3 ONUs. Okay. Now it actually has 4. I have merged a patch to include that one in the test. And if you look at the last run of the test, that actually has 4 ONUs, the 16. As actually has 4 ONUs. This is still a run with a 1T cont 1 gem tech profile, but with all 4 ONUs. And ONU number 1C0B, Zircom 1C0B, is the one that has the new software. And that means that the new software actually runs both 1T cont 1 gem correctly and 1T cont 8 gem. The 1T cont 8 gem test has been done manually by myself. Okay. I've deployed the pod with a 1T cont 8 gem tech profile, and then I've created the manual configuration for that ONU and then tested the ping, and the ping was working, while it was not working on the other ONUs with the same subscriber provision. So that's why I'm pretty confident on the success of that job. Oh, okay. As soon as we update the other ONUs.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, I was just curious because it has default. So I was wondering how were you able to test it?
No, I've manually tested it.
Got it. Yeah. So maybe once that works, probably we can create another job which has 1T8 gem, right?
Yeah. Yes, what we will do is that I actually have, I don't know if I have uploaded or not, a patch to move it back to the 1T cont 8 gem tech profile. What I will do is that I will run a manual. As soon as we updated the 3 ONUs that are remaining there, I will run a manual job to make sure it passes with a 1T cont 8 gem tech profile. Then I'll upload a patch, moving the CI management repo, the job to the 1T cont 8 gem tech profile, and then it should go with the 1T cont 8 gem.
Okay, sure. So let me know if you want me to create. I can just create the job and then test it for you.
I'm just gonna move the existing job to 1T cont 8 gem. It doesn't make any sense to keep it to default. We're keeping it default as a fallback because the profile, the data tech profile didn't work.
Okay.
On the other ticket I have there, it's the upgrade to BAL 3.4. I'm actually waiting for this process with the 1T cont 8 gem to complete before I move the pod to 3.4. I have everything I need to move it. I have downloaded all the images and stuff like that to my pod. Yeah. Just I have decided not to do it yet because of the 1T cont 8 gem taking precedence over that.
Yeah, sure. I will just talk about this in a bit, and then we can decide on the timeline for upgrade.
Okay, perfect. Are you going to talk also about the multiple controller, Honest multiple controller?
This one? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'll just give a quick update on these tickets. Sure. All right. Thanks, Andrea.
No problem.
All right, so Infosys, moving to Infosys, Gayatri or Hema, anyone to talk about the tickets?
Yeah, hi Suchitra, Gayatri here.
Hi, Gayatri.
So I'm currently working on 2053, facing a few issues here and there, so fixing them. Once that is done, I will update the patch.
Okay. And you've been working with Andy as well, right? On these?
Yeah, for 205, for the UDP packets, yeah, I am working with that.
Okay.
So I will share the logs today if possible, or not. By tomorrow, I will be sharing the logs. I have taken the logs. I need to analyze them. So once that is done, I will share the logs.
Okay. Thank you, Gayatri. And Suraj, is he on the call? Okay. I know that Suraj has already submitted a patch for the verification of technology profile pivot. And then this needs to be again merged with the nightly jobs. And it has to be still verified on one of our pods, and before we get this to be merged as part of the nightly pipeline. And Andy?
Yes.
Yeah, just a quick question for you. So I know that you have this ticket for validating bandwidth profiles and you have been integrating. So there is a ticket for Suraj, so a patch from Suraj as well. So we can just merge it and then add it to our nightly jobs again for the data print section.
Right. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at Suraj's test yet. But yeah, after I finish getting the bandwidth profile tests working on all the pods, then I was going to start looking at that.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we should just update everyone. So where you have added, so people know.
Yeah, so
I'll just bring in one of the master jobs.
Yeah, pick any one. So there's a new pipeline stage that runs data plane tests. Currently, there's only a single test. This is from Gayatri at Infosys, this bandwidth profile test. And what it's doing right now is running iPerf on the RG and the BNG, and using TCP to validate that the actual bandwidth that's reserved in the profile is being met. So it seems that for this particular test that we're looking at right now, it expects to see at least 93% of the bandwidth guarantee, and it just missed that by less than 0.1%. So that doesn't seem like a big failure. Probably the next time it runs, it'll succeed. I guess maybe we need to tweak these thresholds a little bit to avoid these kinds of issues if we decide that that's not really a failure. But so the TCP test, I'm currently working on getting that running on the pods. For the community pods, what needs to happen is you need to, I'll send, I guess, a message out on the mailing list, but you need to install iPerf3 and JQ on the client and the server in order to enable this test. But yeah, I'll put some instructions about how to do that.
So can we, I'm sorry, quick question. Can we add these as part of the prerequisites or not? Or these are something that we have to manually enable them?
You mean, can these be installed by the test pipeline itself?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, yeah, we could definitely do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll think about that a little bit.
Yeah, I was also suggesting a similar approach, not to run the test if we see that the preconditions are not met, because it is what I want to avoid is a false negative. It's not that the test is not working. It's not that we're failing because we are doing some recession in our quality. It's just because the tools are not installed. That is, there's no regression. That's what I mean. The test fails, but it's not because the code is not there. It's just because some tool is not installed.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's alarming to see the tests go from green to red, and yeah, I can take a look at that.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Anything else from your side, Andy?
I guess the only other thing to mention, I guess you already talked about this briefly a minute ago, is there's also a test that uses UDP packets to verify the bandwidth profile, and that one is showing strange results that we're currently looking into. There's a lot of packet loss that seems unexpected, and so that test is currently not enabled in the test suite, but we will enable it once we figure out what the problem is. So that's all.
Thanks, Andy. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Suraj, everything is done. All right. So regarding my tickets here, this multi-instances, to enable multi-instances, currently this ticket has been open for a while now. After all patch merges that happened for the multi-ONOS instances, everything is working fine now. And yesterday there were a couple regressions. I'm sorry, let me just show you what it means. So currently there are, if you look at this job on Flex, there has been new parameters that were added to the template, so which includes the number of ONOS instances, and which will include number of atomics instances. And we are starting with like 3 currently, depending on the size of the pod, and we have 3 instances and 3 instances of atomics. So it will install 3 ONOS instances and 3 atomics instances on this Flex pod. And while all the other pods currently, they are not using this settings, they do have these parameters, but they are using the default, like the default being that ONOS, 1 instance of ONOS and 0 atomics. So which is like a single ONOS instance on all other pods. So we had been monitoring this pod, and Andrea fixed the regressions that happened yesterday on FlexPod about on the multi-controllers. So many of the test cases were failing, and currently it looks good. So we had been monitoring this particular pod to make sure that the multi-instance scenarios does not have many regressions. So this looks good, and the plan is to upgrade all other pods also to include 3 atomics and 3 ONOS instances. Andrea, did you want to add anything to it?
No, I think you covered it. We merged the last batch yesterday night. So if you want to try it out, please do. And with that patch, we saw a successful, at least successful run, to the best of my knowledge.
Right. Yeah, so this one test could be that's fine, because most of the regressions are gone now, and it looks pretty good actually. All right, so that's the update, and I'm going to upgrade the rest of the pods to include multi-instances of ONOS, and I have created another some few manual jobs. I updated the templates for the manual jobs, where we are using the manual jobs for testing a couple of things by modifying the templates on fly and then running the tests and build jobs accordingly. So I'll show that. I'll just give you a demo about that in a bit. But that is the about this ticket. Anyone else has anything to talk about the Jiras or any patches before we move on?
Yeah, this is Debashish.
Hi, Debashish.
Hey, I started working on that, but I had written the first version of that, but then there was some keyword issues that were coming. So I tried to merge whatever the test cases on this the failure test file of Voltha. So, but there were some scenarios, the whole test was failing. So because it was not finding some certain keywords. So I'm just trying to find out if that's a problem, then probably I'll get back to you actually regarding that.
Okay, sure. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Debashish.
Hi, Suchitra.
Yeah, Hardik, I was just going to ask you about you. Okay.
Yeah, so the patch is up for this, and I've verified it on the Infosys pod, which has one ONU connected to it on one OLT point pod. So it is working fine on that, but when I'm running it on the Tuxen pod through the function test this is failing for the DHCP for some of the ONUs repeatedly. So I tried to debug it, but I really couldn't move further. I'm not really sure what's happening. So maybe we can try this on any other board. We can give it a try to give it a run. Okay. The only difference between the Tuxen and the Infosys pod is the number of ONUs and the number of consoles.
Number of ONUs. So Infosys has only one ONU, right?
Yes, yes. And Tuxen has 3 on the 2.
Okay. Yeah. So your voice is fading. I'm not sure if everyone was able to hear you clear. So the can you send me the patch ID for this ticket, and then we'll.
Yeah, I'll ping you on the QA channel. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
And the other patch for the disable enable of the OAT, that is still pending to patch.
Oh yes, yes, we were right. Now that most of the tests are passing and we don't have issues, I think this is the time that we can just start merging and then adding new test cases to the suite. I'll do that soon.
Okay, I'll update the patch. I'll rebase it, and then maybe you can merge it.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Thanks, Arthur.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, the next update is about the BAL 3.4. So we have a new Debian package from BAL Brigade. Girish has uploaded BAL 3.4 onto the EdgeCore website. And if you remember earlier, for 2.3 jobs, we were using the older Debian version. So now we will move to the 3.4 Debian version. And I have tested that the same BAL 3.4 version that we will start using for master, that is also working for 2.3 branch, and except that the ONU reboot test has issues when we use BAL 3.4 on 2.3 branch. So the plan internally, what was decided was we will continue to use the new BAL 3.4 for all the branches like the Voltha 2.3 and master, And since we have issues with the ONU reboot on Voltha 2.3, so I'm going to exclude this particular test from Voltha 2.3 branch, and everything, all the rest of the test cases pass well. And the reason that we have chosen to use BAL 3.4 onto 2.3 is that BAL 3.3 requires, 3.4 requires a new ONL version. And let's say the older, if we just keep the older BAL version for 2.3 jobs, then we have to go back and reinstall the ONL and then install the old version on Voltha 2.3. And again, when we go back to master, it's a new version of ONL, which again involves a manual and intervention to install the ONL. So we wanted to avoid this back and forth installations, and hence we wanted to use the same BAL 3.4 for both 2.3 and master jobs. So there is one stable version for 3.4, which we will be using and then continue to use for Voltha 2.3 branch. But for master, since there is new work that is going on for BAL 3.4, so we might be, in future, we will be having more versions of BAL 3.4 versions, Debian packages with new changes on BAL 3.4. So that's the update, and Girish has already uploaded on the EdgeCore website for both versions of 3.4 Debian versions, one that should be used for Voltha 2.3 and one for master, or which is for 2.4 currently. So if you go to the EdgeCore website and the same location, when you check the folders for 2.3 and 2.4, you will find the new Debian version to be downloaded. And there are instructions to install the new ONL. And then after installing the new ONL, you need to download the new Debian package onto the OLT. And Girish has already written a set of instructions, and I will be sending the email soon to you all. And Infosys, once you get an update from that email, please raise a request to the EdgeCore website to get the new BAL 3.4 version for yourself for the OLT. And today we are going to upgrade one of the QA pods to BAL 3.4, and then just make an attempt to make sure that, again, verify all the jobs for 2.3 and the master to make sure that the BAL 3.4 version works fine after the new Debian package creation by Girish. So once that is done, I will just forward the email from Girish, which has instructions to download these versions and how to install the new ONL as well. So that's a change. So I'm just giving you an update since we have had this meeting today. So during this week, probably mostly tomorrow, you can start upgrading your pods with 3.4 after you hear from me. Any questions? Okay, sounds good. All right, so talking about manual jobs, I created a new job for Infosys using the manual template, and I will quickly go over it and then just provide a quick demo on how how you can use this manual job to either test your build jobs or either test your new test cases before you merge onto the patches, or before you make the test cases to ready or not ready state, or not ready to ready state, something like that. So by changing the local directories. So here, all those manual jobs are not shown here, but when you they are part of this all jobs, and I know it's very difficult to right now to search your particular job, but let's say here. So you can go here and then search for your particular job. So these are manual. Anything that shows manual are the jobs that are used by, that are created using the manual templates. So let's say I'm going to one of this pod because I do not have access to your dev notes on Infosys pod. So let's say I go to this, and this is on the ONF demo pod, and this is the template. It looks exactly the same like the one which we use for the jobs that are shown here. All the attributes that are shown as part of these jobs right here will be shown there. Attributes, I mean that these are the build with parameters. So most of them that you actually manipulate these values here and then start to build, all these attributes or parameters are shown here. So let's say in this particular, the defaults, whatever, when you go to this page shows you the defaults on this job. So the number of ONUs, as an example, the default is 1, number of ONOS is 1, atomics is 0. In case I want to change it and then change these values and then build the pod, then I can just update them to 2. The maximum ONOS OpenONU instances that we are using is 2. And let's say if I want to use these, then I can choose these attributes here. And mostly we usually do not update these values because these are the basic values for these parameters that needs to go on. But you could update these and then just trigger a build here, and then you will get the right set of containers and that you need on the pod. So I'm not triggering it right now, but okay, that's, I think, I don't know, let me check if any job is running on. Yeah, I think demo pod is empty. None of the jobs are running, so I can trigger this right here. And let's say if I want to update any of the pipeline script. So how do I do it is, right now I'm just trying to abort this job. With this settings, let's say I had to update some of the some changes that I need in the Groovy script, as an example. So I can go here and then update any of this, or I can comment out some of these steps here and then install it and then again run it. So where you should go to the replay section and you will get this, the Groovy script that is used for this. And this Groovy script is exactly same as the one that is used to build this pod right here. So in case you are updating the Groovy script and you want to make sure that your changes are right, then you can go here and then make the changes based on your script, based on your patch, and then just re-trigger the job. So it will take those particular parameters that you have earlier given, and then with whatever changes that you had made in the Groovy script. Okay, so another scenario could be that what if you wanted to update some of the pod configs. Maybe you want to add a new ONU and then test it out. So you have to build that with your pod configs, or you are testing an image from a developer, and then you want to test the image for a bug fix. So how you do that is, so I'm first logging in to the dev node. And this is the dev node for this particular pod. So every pod has a dev node. So log into your particular dev node, and these particular jobs, check on your, they are created on this particular directory. All the jobs are created on WAT Jenkins home workspace, and this could be a little different on each dev node. So check for the Jenkins directory on your dev node and make sure that you're going into the right workspace. And once you go into the workspace, this particular dev node invokes multiple jobs, but the one that you need is this this particular job that you want to go in. So you can just go to that job, and here this is the place where the Jenkins is downloading all the required required repos that it needs to build this job. And where is it getting that from? So it is getting it from here, where you're defining this step, the parse deployment configuration file. So you are removing all these directories, pod configs directory, Voltha system test, and kind Voltha, and then you are recloning all these directories. All these repos here. So let's say pod configs directory over here. I need to make some changes. So I just go to the pod configs directory, and let's say I need to update some deployment configs. Then go to that particular pod related YAML file, and you can make some specific changes. Maybe you are using a different OLT as an example, then just make a change over here. Or maybe you're trying to test a different OpenOLT Debian package, then you can just make an update here. Or you're adding a new new ONU, then you can give your specifics in these sections. So pretty much anything you want to change, you can change it here, and then as per your need for your patch, and then update this file. And once you update the file, you need to make sure that you are removing this particular go to the replay section, and since you are changing the pod configs you have changed and you want those settings to be retained, don't remove that directory. So we should let that script know. So you're commenting this part out, and then remove the reclone of this pod configs directory, and just run the run the job, and then all the changes that you have made are taken from the modified directory here. So likewise, if there was a new image that needs to be tested, then again, we are using this YAML file, values file, where we are specifying various images, and then we are testing. So let's say if I have a custom image that I need to test for ONOS, then I just do this, and then specify my custom image, and and then just save the changes. And again, make sure that you are not recloning it, but you want to preserve your changes, but this pod needs to be installed with those changes, and you can just run it. So likewise, it's the same thing with the system test and the kind Voltha, if there were any changes that needs to be done. So in our build script from Voltha system test directories, we are copying the SADIS configurations, we are copying the whatever is required in the netcfg for ONOS. If you had to make some changes to your subscribers or something, then where the build wants that to push to ONOS, then you would go to Voltha system test, make the changes to your data files here, and again, since you made some changes to Voltha system test, then you just remove this and then build the file and build the jobs. So these are the basic things that we usually perform as part of the manual build jobs, and these are the common frequent updates that we usually do. And the common frequent changes that we also usually do is by testing our own, if there were any new requirements that has come up to include as part of the Jenkins Groovy script, then we are doing that. Before we commit the patch, we test them here and make sure that all the right changes that are applied to the pod. So that's with the manual job, build job. This is the build job. Then going into the test, which is the main thing that Infosys was also inquiring about. Before I move on, anybody has any questions? Okay. Okay, like we have the manual job, this manual job is the build job. We also have a test job, and which is this one. So just keep a note on the template definition and the way the job name is defined. So it says build, and the profile name comes first in the manual jobs. But whereas in these jobs, the template, the actual jobs have build and followed by the pod name. So just make sure that you are not modifying these test jobs. So just to identify between manual jobs and the regular jobs. So the profile, the naming of the naming has been given different. So we have a corresponding manual. We have a corresponding manual, and we have and then the test job here. All right. Okay, so the Groovy script here is different from the one that is used as part of the pipeline job here, the nightly jobs. But you could still use the same script to execute and validate your test cases manually on the pod. And how you do that is, again, you go to the test directory from the Jenkins workspace on your dev machine, on the dev node. So you have something like test here. Let's say you have created a new test case. So just copy the test here into this directory right here, or just update this Voltha system test directory by checking out your patch as well, and then just remove the Voltha system test directory from here, because by default, this pulls the Voltha system test as well if you check the actual Groovy script. And you can, these are the these are the same commands that you would give on the command line. So let's say you want to execute a particular test case, then just give the new, something like new test case here, whichever suite that it depends, that it belongs to, and then comment it. And let's say if you do not want all the rest of the suites to run, from the failure scenarios, error scenarios, data plane scenarios, then just comment those out, and then it will just run your new test case. That is it. And you don't need to modify any other sections except this part right here. So it's pretty simple on the testing, on the validating your test cases. If you were to add, and you could also, let's say you have another new test case that you want to test here, then new failure tests. If you want to run them together, then you can just give these, something like this. So you can just play around these options and then just try it out. If you want everything to be run, then just leave the defaults. Okay, that's all I had to show. And once you start working on these manual jobs and then start trying to test these jobs and validating your test cases, then it will give you a clear picture. But I don't have anything else to show. So currently Infosys job, I'll just show it to you guys. So there's nothing right now. So if you want to trigger, because these are all manually triggered, so you have to just build your pod by triggering it manually. Once the pod is built, then go to your test job and again build your job first, and then make the changes, required changes that you want, custom changes onto the Groovy script, and then start testing. Okay, so that is all I had to show today about these manual jobs. Yeah, once you start using, and you can always reach me out for any questions. Any questions? Okay, looks like no. Any other topics, quick topics that we want to discuss before we close out today? Okay, sounds good. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk again next week.
Thank you.
Suchitra, next week in Germany is a